We were pretty famous back in high school. Trust us.
Had a whole future ahead of us, but now we suck.
All that potential now is flowing in the aqueducts.
Through the sands of time, many did forget.
But now our time has come to resurrect. But a podcast.
Sad I know, but can you blame us?
We are desperate to be much more than high school famous. I need to be heard.
You need to be her?
I need to be heard.
Oh. Just making sure.
No, I need to be a famous young black female singer, songwriter, instrument player. Her.
Is that who her is?
Yeah. Have you not seen her before?
No.
Or what she looks like? No, she's just
I've heard of him.
Have you heard of her?
I mean, maybe not this specific her.
Well, there's a singer named H.E.R. H.E.R. Maybe a dot at the end of that. Oh, well, she's very popular.
Apparently.
She's taking the world by storm.
I'm sitting here. I was almost about to be like, apparently, she can't be that popular. I haven't heard of her.
Oh, yeah, because
I'm the barometer of what's cool and popular in the world.
Your finger is on the pulse of popular culture.
I'm glad you didn't say her.
The pulse of her. You're checking her pulse. You're concerned she might be dead.
She was in a horrific accident. Yeah,
it was a tour bus. Well, everyone, welcome into High School Famous, the podcast where we will probably talk about high school, but hopefully we will not. My name is Sean.
Like how you're just on that kick now. You're just like, fuck it. That's what I'm going to do now.
Hey, you
because I was doing a bit about your fucking intros being awful.
Yeah, you said your piece.
Like, well, I'm just not going to ever do one ever again because
you don't get my intros anymore.
I don't have to get them. I mean, we're just, just because I maybe didn't appreciate them doesn't mean other people didn't appreciate them. And now you're just punishing everybody else because I didn't like it.
You're assuming
and since
everyone else
have the pulse on fucking what people like and what's popular. You're giving me too much power.
Well, you're also assuming that nobody likes or the majority dislikes the intro that I've been doing, the one you came up with. Is that what you're saying?
Possibly because it was something I did. So I assume people hate it.
I mean, you're the one that has you're the gauge on this kind of thing. I try to stay out of it, even though I know who her is.
I don't know why that sounded weird. Who her?
Well, it does sound. Who her? Where her? Where her at?
Why her?
Why? Well, that's the right thing
works.
To say. Yeah.
Yeah.
What her? What her?
Yeah.
Her what?
Where her?
Where's her what?
Where her as in W-E-A-R.
Oh, W-E-A-R.
On to the dad joke.
Oh, you ready for it? Okay. Well, you know what? You might be able to tell. I'm wearing it right now. I bought a wig for $1 today.
Oh, yeah?
It was a small price to pay.
I don't know how to move on from these. I don't. Well, there's no societal norms to move on from something so devastating.
You have to go with what your gut instinct tells you to do.
To pretend it didn't happen?
Sure. And then so you could just give it a moment and then just go on with whatever the next thing is without even acknowledging that this was even read.
Okay, let's do that. Let's pretend it didn't happen.
Sure. I'm not going to pretend.
I would like it if you would. Anyways, so yeah, hi, I'm Matt. I don't know if we did that already.
Well, you didn't. I said okay. I'm Sean. Yeah, we're good now.
Oh, okay, we're good. And this is another episode. So hey, cool. Anything cool happen? I'm so professional at this. 143 episoets.
I took my son to get a haircut today.
Oh.
Can I tell you about a weird dream I had?
All cut. Yes, please tell me about the dream and and let's pretend I didn't just do the other thing.
Yeah, pretend you didn't comment on all of the hair that may or may not be on my son's body.
I could choose to edit it out.
You could. You have
But I
that.
won't.
I was attending a Tool show in my dream.
Okay.
I think it's because someone at work had told me one of the band members had stated, "Oh, we might pull out some oldies, like some old gems for this next run that we haven't played in a while." So so that might have been what sparked this dream up. So I think he and I were I think he was in the dream too, the coworker who. Anyway, so I was.
Oh.
Some other musical act was performing, but
Don't start your story by telling him. I had a dream about you the other night.
No. I already told him this dream anyway. I don't know. I may or may not have mentioned that he was in it. I think I did. But anyway, so this other musical act was performing, and then it didn't look like Tool was going to be performing at that same stage because there wasn't any other equipment around or anything. So I sort of looked over and saw this smaller area with like people out in just folding chairs in the grass. Like,
okay.
Oh, that's where it's going to be. So this is not really important, but so we found it. Then they start to play a song, and it's some older song. I don't remember which one it was in the dream, but it was one of the older ones. But instead of the singer actually singing anything, they had somebody just walk around the crowd with a microphone and hold it up to fans to sing the song instead.
Okay.
I'm like, this is lame. I guess they're playing it, but so they get through the song, and then I think people got upset, and that caused the show to just be over after that.
Okay.
And the band was like tearing down. Everybody was just sort of like really upset. Then they started to disperse. And then I look over and I see Jack Nicholson. And he's just sort of hanging out, and there's a couple people around him. And so I go up to talk to him, and then we were just talking about just normal stuff. I didn't acknowledge that he was Jack Nicholson at first.
Okay.
And then he didn't seem. We were just sort of. I don't think we were commenting on the show. It was just like, hey, what's going on? This is a crazy place. Oh, did you like your folding chair? I liked my folding chair. So I don't. So eventually. He's like, yeah, do you want to get your phone out and then we can take this selfie or take this picture together? I'm like, oh, yeah.
Like he initiated?
Well, I think in the dream, it was like he initiated because he kind of knew I was probably going to eventually get to that or work up the nerve to ask that. So he's like, just get your phone out, So we start to try to take the picture. And for whatever reason, once I'm holding the phone up to take a picture of us, neither of us have shirts on. And no matter which way I move the phone around to try to take the picture, only like one little section of my face is fitting in the frame, and it's always in like the upper corner of the picture. No matter what I do, I can't get my whole face in the shot. I don't know why. Take the picture because I'm like, I just give up. And then like, well, that's just the best we're gonna get. And we're both just like, making some dumb smiling face. And I'm like, well, I guess that's the picture I get with Jack Nicholson. And then I say, oh, I'm a big fan. I really like a lot of your movies. And I think, I just sort of say the typical fan stuff when you see someone. And he goes, oh, what are all the movies of mine that you've seen? I was like, what?
Oops.
Well, you would think he wants to interact with me or any other typical fan as little as possible. But he's like, oh, which ones have you seen? And so I start nervously rattling off
keep going.
movies he's been in. I'm like, Anger Management, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, The Shining. And I start like nervously running out of movies really, really, really quickly. And I'm thinking like in the back of my mind, have I not seen that many? Like, are there just so many Jack Nicholson movies I've never seen? And then I start to, he's like doing the gesture, like, come on, where's more? Give me more. You
boost my ego.
Surely you've seen more because you said you're a big fan. And then at that point, I think I ran out. I started to walk away. And then in my head, I was like, wait a minute, A Few Good Men. Wait a minute, As Good as It Gets. Wait a minute, Batman. I just started.
I was literally going to list those three.
Yeah. So then I was like, I screwed up my one.
Chinatown.
Yeah. So I haven't seen that, but I wouldn't have listed.
He doesn't need to know that.
I could sit there and list movies I know he's been in.
Well, you just slyly pull up your IMDb on your phone without him noticing.
The phone that I couldn't frame well for a picture seconds ago. No,
IMDb is all off in the corner. You can't really read it.
Yeah, it's all it's cropped. Yeah, it's blurry. No, it's probably mirrored somehow, so all the words are backwards. No, but that would have been a bad idea in my mind. Not that I would have. Not that this
in
came
my
up
dream mind.
Well, right. Not that this scenario came up and I could have thought of this in the dream, but based on what happened in the dream, I said I like a lot of your movies, and he said which ones. And so if I start naming off movies that I haven't seen, then he's going to be like, "What was your favorite part?" Or tell me about. He would somehow ask me
just
to
the whole thing is it's hard to pick apart.
It's too hard to tell. Like the opening credits are just the font you used. You picked the font, right? I read that in an article. I read that in an article once.
I read that in an article I just made up in my brain.
You adamantly
in my dream brain.
You pick all the fonts for all your movie credits. That's in your contract. That's that's what I heard. And then he's like, "Where'd you hear that?" And I'm like, it was People magazine. Which edition? Which one? Which month? Which year?" I'm like, "Oh, June 1958."
How did the dream actually end?
Once I was like thinking of Batman. I was thinking of other movies, and then I woke up and I'm like, man, what? I don't know how often I dream. Period, because I barely ever wake up
every night. But yeah,
well, I barely ever wake up remembering a dream,
right?
Or even recalling that I did dream. I just wake up.
I always know that I've dreamed. Like for a faint moment when I wake up, I'm like, "Oh, that dream was great." Oh, it's gone.
No, see, most of the times I don't even wake up with that. I just wake up and I have no recollection that whether I dreamt or not. I don't remember experiencing a dream. So it's rare that I remember experiencing a dream immediately when I wake up, not even days later.
It's like you go to bed, you just black out, and you wake up the next day.
Usually, that's usually what most of my nights are like. Yeah,
you're just literally unconscious.
Yeah, it's like I've been knocked out, like I've been given sleeping gas or something.
So literally, like for you then it's like you fall asleep and then immediately you wake up and you're like, oh, it's been 8 hours, but it's felt like no time has passed.
Basically I do end up waking up a couple times throughout the night. Usually I just kind of like wake up and then I'll just peek at my phone to make sure I don't need to deal with something, and then I'll go back to sleep. But there's no, like, especially if you wake up, let's say I was dreaming and I wake up at like 2 a.m. There's no like getting back to that dream.
Well, yeah, no, you can't like will yourself back into a dream.
But even
as much as you're like, okay, let's just keep focus on that dream so I can just keep going with it. Especially if it's like, if you are remembering your dream and it's an awesome one, and you've woken up and then you're like, okay, I just want that dream to continue, and you go back to sleep, and then just like clowns start fucking or something. It's like nothing the same as sorry.
No, it's exactly the same.
Mine are always clowns fucking.
Yeah, but even waking up, like let's say I just wake up at 2 a.m. for example again, and even those times I'm like never remembering that I had dreamt, or whether or not I had dreamt anything up till that point. It's always just experience nothing, wake up a couple times, continue experiencing nothing while I'm asleep, and then it's morning. So
have you ever had reoccurring dreams that you do recall?
Any what?
Reoccurring dreams? Yeah.
The only one is when I was a kid. I'm trying to think of what age ranges, maybe like 9 to 13, or maybe younger than that, 7 to 10 or something. I remember there was this, often I would have this dream where, well, I'll give you a couple different things. I would have this dream where there was a cat, like a really angry looking cat at the foot of my bed. And it started to like sort of lower its body, like it's going to jump at me, and its tail starts moving, and then it does pounce right at my face, and that was when I would wake up.
Yeah, it jars you awake.
Yeah. The only other thing is not a specific dream that happens a lot, but it's sort of a recurring thing that happens to me in various dreams.
Okay.
It's where I'm either looking for something, or I'm running from something, or it's like I panic and realize I'm supposed to be here, but I'm here, and I can't. My legs seem to be so heavy, or it's like I'm in quicksand or something. I can't just move my legs enough to just get up and running at any kind of pace. I'm always sort of struggling to keep myself upright. That happens to you too?
I was going to bring that up. Oh God, yeah, all the time. Where you just where you're trying to run from something or to something, and you can't move. You're like, you are running as hard as you can, but you're moving so slow. It's just
Yeah,
like
it's
this
so
weird
weird.
snail's pace of just like, ugh.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
like
get that a lot.
it's like once
And
your feet.
falling.
See, I don't have anything about falling, but
I
it's
get
like
falling dreams like sometimes, and it jars you awake. Like, oh shit! All of a sudden, I'm falling, but you're just literally in bed.
that's a
like,
kick. That's called a kick.
yeah, I kick myself in my dreams all the time. Apparently,
Yeah. Because man, you kick yourself because like, why didn't I join that group of fucking clowns?
yeah, I did. So I used to have a reoccurring dream when I was younger that did involve a clown. It wasn't fucking, but it was like chasing me in my backyard.
Oh,
And it
on a
was like
unicycle?
it was just a clown like slowly chasing me, like the kind of the horror movie trope of like the villain just walks but you can't get away from him.
Right.
In my backyard, and I would have this dream, like I've had it several times, enough to still remember it now, but I haven't had that dream that I recall in decades at this point, but I still faintly remember it. And the weird, like, it was a creepy clown. And you'd think I would have this weird thing about clowns, but clowns don't bother me at all.
You're not scared
and
of
even
clowns.
that dream, like, didn't really scare me. Like, I wanted to get away from it, but I wasn't, like, frightened.
Okay.
If you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, oh, I don't want to be near this clown. He's kind of fucking weird and creepy. But, like, I didn't feel like I was in danger.
Yeah.
Kind of situation.
Do you have any idea when the dream stopped happening? Did it have anything to do with when you moved out of your parents' house, you think? And you didn't have that same backyard anymore?
I don't know if you're trying to make a joke, but
no.
Okay. I was going to say, I'm like, I don't know if you're going with a joke but oddly, maybe that makes sense.
I mean, I was just thinking because one thing I was going to ask you is if you moved at some point, like let's say the first apartment you moved into, did the location change? Were you still being chased by a clown but somewhere else? Or did it just stop altogether once you left your parents' house?
I couldn't give you a definitive answer. I don't recall ever having a dream again like that in a different location.
Sure.
Like the dream's location, not necessarily me in a different location. But yeah, I definitely don't recall ever having that dream in a different location. And I also don't recall when the last time I had it was. The only times I do recall having it was when I was young and I lived at home. So it could be.
Maybe.
It could be.
Maybe.
But, interesting. Interesting. Yeah. I think you just deep dived into my psyche a bit there.
Perhaps I did.
Perhaps you did.
Any recent dreams?
Oh, no. There's
nothing
that I remember anymore. Yeah. Like that's like my dreams are always just like if I don't like hold on to it the second I wake up and like start vividly trying to make sure I like remember shit, it's just immediately gone. I kind of always envied the people that would have these crazy dreams that they could fully recall and like tell you about. Because
I know
I knew this. I say I knew this girl. I did a thing years ago where I went off for a week. It was like a church thing, and we went off for a week and we kind of did stuff around the city as far as like youth program stuff and like fundraising shit. And so it was people from different churches that all went, and then we got to stay in this like big house for a week. So I was hanging out with people that I literally met there for the first time. And there was a girl there who every morning would tell us the dreams she had, and they were insane. Just like she vividly remembered them, and they were always just weird as hell. Like
I wish
just
that
stuff that didn't make sense ever. And I'm just like, oh man, like I envied that. I'm like, I wish I had weird ass dreams that I could tell people about, because it's just like, that's so awesome.
Well, you said you don't remember your dreams often.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's possible that you do have
weird dreams. I might have. I'm like, I know I've had weird dreams, like, because I'll wake up and I'll be like, man, that dream was weird, but then I just lose it. But I know I had a really weird dream. But like, there's things like the running thing and like stuff like that. That's always like, I remember having dreams that involve that kind of stuff, but I don't know what I was running from or to or anything like that. I just remember being like not being able to move. And
well, I know, for example, with one of those for me, I remember like I somehow had left my son somewhere, and I was trying. It was like the middle of the night, and I was trying to get back to where he would be before he like noticed I wasn't there, so he doesn't freak out and like
I was
panic.
gonna say you were trying to get away from him.
Yeah, he just would. He was walking toward me, and no matter how fast I went,
He was wearing a clown
I
outfit.
couldn't get away. Yeah, he was wearing my clown outfit.
Oh, and I had just been fucking in that clown outfit.
You were?
I was being you in that scenario.
Oh, okay. How'd you know? Anyway, then I've been able to fly in various ways in various dreams.
I don't know if I've ever flown. You're talking like assisted and unassisted flying, or
No, so I guess I can only really think of maybe two very distinct ways. One is where it's not so much; it's more like gliding. Like
Okay.
I could jump up and then just sort of like glide at a downward angle for a while until I landed a little bit.
mm-hmm.
The other is very weird. I could get a little bit of speed, just sort of running at a not a crazy
Trot.
pace. I'm not sprinting. Yeah, I'm trotting, sure. And then I would just be able to sort of like jump up and keep my feet flat, just above the ground. We're talking like 4 inches above the ground, and I could just sort of like hover anywhere I wanted to go, just above the ground. Yeah, it was really weird.
As long as you built up a small amount of speed.
A small amount of, you got to get that little bit of a momentum first. But
otherwise, you just jump up and you hover in place.
Yeah, and well, that can happen too, and that's embarrassing when you're trying to show it off to other people. But I know
people
that's
would not be impressed.
I know not the fact that I'm hovering 4 inches above the ground in place is not enough for them. Well, because I promised travel in this way, and if I don't deliver. But
I can get from point A to point B without fatigue. Check this out.
Watch this. There's no conveyor, but I know that particular type of like flying, I guess, hovering, whatever you want to call it. I know that's happened more than once in a dream.
That is a weird, like, I wonder if anybody else has had that kind of a thing, because it's such a weirdly specific thing of like flying is something people talk about, like having flying dreams. Like I can just soar through the sky, but to be like, I could hover slightly above the ground and move as long as I built up momentum ahead of time.
And I have to stand upright, like I'm just standing. It's not like I could like,
you have to be stiff. Like add attention.
Not like that, but I'm not like, flying horizontally like you picture Superman or somebody or Peter Pan flying. It's just,
4 inches off the ground horizontally would be quite inefficient.
Well, it would also
you'd crank your neck really bad trying to see where you're going.
Yeah, I could just, I would tape a lot of paths on the with colored tape on the ground, so I could just follow that and just keep my head staring at the ground. It'd be like taking the red line or the green line or the blue line.
It's like, have you ever, like, when you were younger, did you ever like hold a mirror like up to you, like so that you could only see the ceiling and then try to walk through your house without being able to see your feet and stuff? Oh shit, we used to do that as kids all the time.
I've never heard of this.
I mean, me neither. But no, like, because it's weird because you're looking.
That sounds oddly interesting. Like I want to try this now.
Yeah, because as you're walking, you're looking down. You're like, oh, I need to like avoid this ceiling fan, but the ceiling fan's not there. You're just like,
that's so weird.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a weird way to try to like walk around your house because you're looking only at the mirror, so you're not looking forward to where you're actually going, and you're just basically trying to navigate yourself through the house.
Now, your house
by looking at the ceiling.
Now, your house had 2 sets of stairs, and you had stairs down to the basement, and then you had stairs from the main level to the upstairs.
Yes. Yep. Okay. I see.
Do I remember your house better than you do?
I wasn't considering the stairs down to the basement because the basement wasn't like a living area.
Right. So but either way, that's part. But you're staring at this mirror and the reflection of the ceiling. My point is this something like your parents are encouraging you to wander around the house where there's a bunch of stairs, just staring at a bunch of glass and not watching where you're going?
I don't recall us ever doing it like when my parents were home. It was like more so something we would do when we were like home alone because we're bored as shit. I also don't ever recall actually going up and down the stairs doing that.
Oh, okay. You just
were like just walking around like the main floor and stuff.
All right. That's safer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would have taken
that's a safe way to walk around while looking at a mirror.
Yeah.
You would have taken it to the streets.
Oh, yeah.
All it is a sky above you.
You can never see a car coming because there's no cars ever going to be above the mirror.
But sky and maybe an occasional tree.
And you got to put on like noise canceling headphones
Oh, of
to
course.
block out any sound
Mhm.
because you know what, the cars, they're going to honk and swerve.
Every once in a while, you might almost get hit by a plane. Oh,
Whoa.
so scary.
Oh,
Don't look up.
chopper.
Don't look up. Always
Interesting.
look down.
I would, well, you're looking down at the, anyway, you know how it works. You did it.
Mm-hmm.
There is something that I was going to say.
Maybe my
when
family
she
was
started
weird.
talking about that I can't remember now.
Oh, did it involve mirrors?
No, it didn't involve mirrors. Let me see. Flying, weird way, standing upright.
Tape on the ground.
Tape on the ground. You using mirrors to navigate around the house. I've never done that. What? I don't know. Maybe
I don't
it'll
remember
come
saying
to-
what. I'm
No,
more so
I
being
d-
like, was this weird?
I threw that little part in. I don't. That was my own. That was my own panache in the retelling of the story.
A bit of an embellishment on the story.
Yeah, I took some creative license and I added my own. Yeah, it's an adaptation. You know,
There's no way I could claim plagiarism on that.
that's
you
true.
added a word.
I added a doom 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 boom
Yep.
doom 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 doom. You know, not plagiarizing.
It's not the same thing.
So hopefully, at some point, what I was going to say comes back to me, and then I will tell it. But right now, no.
I am interested to hear any follow up on if you decide to try walking around your house holding a mirror. Do you have a small mirror that you can navigate the house with?
I don't have a mirror. I have the two mirrors that are on the bathroom walls. Like,
I mean, you
but
could pull one down.
I don't want to. No, I don't want to pull one of those down. The one in the main level bathroom, maybe, but definitely not the upstairs bathroom. That's huge. But I don't. Other than that, I don't have a mirror that I could. I mean, I could take my phone and like have the front facing camera on, so I could do that.
Yeah, that would maybe work.
Yeah, it would.
A tablet would be better. It's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I don't have one.
Laptop?
Sorry. Yeah, I do, but then I would have to hold it so that the screen was facing up and like the keyboard part was vertical.
Yeah. Just hold the keyboard part up against you.
Type.
Oh, you wouldn't want to be typing.
And type, this is fun.
You don't want to be typing, so you want to be looking where you're going. In the camera.
I can type and be looking at the screen. That's what you do when you type.
I was about to say.
I have the ability to look at what I'm typing while I'm typing it. I wouldn't have to stare down at the keyboard while typing.
Right.
But again, I don't even know what I'm typing on if the whole screen is meant to be a mirror. So,
well, you'd find out afterwards. You'd be trying. It's like a 2-part thing. You're kind of multitasking.
Sure.
You're writing a story while walking around the house, looking at your camera that's facing the ceiling. So then afterwards, you could just try to see if your story was coherent. It's a mental training tool.
Yes.
Well, I don't know how to transition to this at all, so I'm just
That's
gonna.
what you said about when you followed the may or may not have been Red Dead joke.
This is a episode of not being able to transition smoothly.
Look, a
Sean,
transition from what I understand involves a series of surgeries.
Is that enough for you to get canceled? Is that remark enough to cancel you? Okay.
No, there's nothing there's nothing offensive or derogatory about that at all. It's a fact.
I mean, currently there isn't. We'll see what the edit looks like. So you're aware of Reddit. Are you aware of the Am I the Asshole section of Reddit?
Certainly not.
Okay, so this is a section of Reddit, or what do they call it? I don't know. A Reddit thread,
a subreddit?
A subreddit, perhaps, of people will post a story asking, "Am I the asshole for this?" And then they'll tell the whole story, and then people will vote whether or not and they'll comment on whether or not they think the person's the asshole or not, or give advice or whatever.
Is it strictly comment response, or is it like a poll where you can vote one way or the other?
I believe I don't know if it's polled or if the people that moderate it read through the comments and then assign
keep track
based off of. Yeah, I'm not sure how
I wouldn't want to do that
part of it's done, but they end up getting tagged.
Do that at all.
Yeah, it ends up getting tagged up at the top whether or not they are or not the asshole. So I was trying to search for some myself, and it's, given enough time, I can go through and find a bunch that I think are awesome, but I just found a list of some of what are considered to be some of the best ones of all time.
Wow.
It's the 16 best, most cursed Am I the Asshole posts of all time, from mildly fucked up to giving away your girlfriend's cat.
Hey,
that's how it's rated.
Quick little note here before we jump in. I'm shaking my desk right now.
Okay.
Yes. Can you tell?
Yeah.
Well, because of the microphone, right?
I can visually tell. I don't believe I can audibly tell.
Well, what isn't shaking or moving are my monitor and camera, because they are wall mounted now.
Cool. That was important.
Well,
to throw in.
You asked,
hey, listeners.
You asked what was new, and this is another thing that was new that I forgot to mention.
Yeah. Hey, listeners, you know what's great? This visual thing that I can't even see.
Well, that was part of the demonstration. Had my monitor still been on its stand, resting on the surface of the desk, and anytime my desk got really wobbly once I moved it further away from the wall, and so like anytime I would touch it, essentially, it would wobble a lot, and then the monitor would wobble, and therefore my phone camera on the top of the monitor would also wobble. But that's been, I can see, you're bouncing up and down, like you're on top.
Like I'm fucking a clown.
Yeah. So also, go ahead, do your thing.
No. Also, what? No, you started. So we're gonna ride this train.
So obviously, something like this, a wall mount for a monitor it can be raised or lowered, the height of it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have my foam panels on my wall that I face in the corner of my room where all this is set up, and they are arranged more like a diamond. Like if you take a square and turn it 45 degrees or 90 degrees. Anyway, so that's how they're arranged. So I was going to hope that where the studs were in the corner, I would be able to put the mount either above or below this one corner of this certain foam panel. So I put it on the lower one or just below it first. And then I raised the mount to the highest point it can go with the monitor on it, and it was too low. So then I moved it above that panel, and then I lowered the monitor to its lowest point. And yes, I could have had it at that height, but it was about 5 or 6 inches higher than what I wanted it to be. And so then I just removed the panel altogether and put it about square in the middle, and now it's right where I want it to be. But I hung this wall mount 3 times, and therefore have put just on this side of the wall or on this wall 9 holes for a 3-hole wall mount. And on the other side of the corner, on the other wall, I did a couple test holes to see if there was actually studs back there, because my stud finder was telling me there were studs back there. So you drill a couple little tiny test holes, and I never found any wood on that side. So yeah, I have a lot of unnecessary holes in this corner right now, all for this silly little wall mount.
I mean,
if anybody else out there has struggled with mounting a wall
with too many unnecessary holes,
if you also suffer from too many holes, let me know.
Oh, my dating life. Am I right? Anyways. So, Sean, let's get into this Am I the Asshole stuff.
Sure. Speaking of holes.
All right. Am I the asshole for bringing up my brother's premature birth at Christmas dinner to get my parents to shut up? All right.
No.
There's a story. There's a whole story. That's not it.
Well,
it'd be really dumb if that was the whole thing, because there's no context.
Out of context, I would say no. What would?
All right.
Anyway, I could speculate on the context, and then but it's silly. That's a silly thing to do.
All right. I am a nurse practitioner, and I am the primary care provider for a lot of low-risk maternity cases at the practice where I work. I also work hand in hand with the doctors and midwives to create healthy maternity, birth, and postpartum situation. To create a healthy situation. All right. My fiance is completing her residency. We live together and have for a few years now. We aren't in any hurry to get married. We originally had plans to do so a couple of years ago, but then we got really busy for 2 years. It is driving my very religious parents crazy that their youngest son is living in sin. I don't really care. I'm an adult and I do what I want. We are getting married in June. These are just weirdly like sectioned off sentences. Yeah. So we are visiting my parents for Christmas. The way it came together this year, everyone is at my parents' house. So that's my folks, my 3 siblings, myself and my fiance, and 7 grandchildren. So 17 people.
Wow.
At dinner, my mom starts going on about how she's so glad that we're finally getting married and she won't be embarrassed at church anymore. And my dad says how proud he is that his 3 other kids, who all either waited to get married before moving in together or got married right after moving in together. My fiance was getting embarrassed and I was getting mad over this stupid argument we've had too many times. And my family dinner was the last straw. I have asked them repeatedly to just accept that they cannot control how I live my life. I refuse to stay with them when I visit, even if I come alone. Hotels are just easier. So I started talking about a premature baby I had been reading about. It was almost 3 months premature and weighed 1.6 pounds. It was super strong and healthy for being born so little, and the NICU had high hopes for the baby doing well. My mom and dad both got deer in the headlight looks on their faces. Too bad. Should not have fucked around with my fiance's feelings. So I asked about my oldest brother. He was born almost 4 months premature. Is there a chance that we could check out the family album where we keep all the records of family births and stuff? I already know my brother was over 9 pounds and almost 23 inches long when he was born. My grandmother told me all about it the first time my parents tried to shame me. The subject gets changed very quick. After supper, my parents told me that I should not try to embarrass them with private things that are not my concern. I told them that if I heard anything about my living arrangements ever again for the rest of my life, I would make sure to keep bringing up the fact that my mom was in her 2nd trimester when they got married. My parents are mad at me for telling them how to behave in their own home, but my fiance is happy that they seem to be off the subject for good. Am I the asshole?
No.
It's like you have no grounds to say shit about the way your kid is living if that was how you started off your relationship.
Exactly.
You lived in sin prior to this. So
this is a classic. Those with glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Judge not, lest ye be judged scenarios.
Exactly.
I can't imagine that got a high voting in favor of them being the asshole.
They were voted not the asshole.
Yeah. I think that shows that everyone on Reddit are sensible people.
Yeah, I believe like most of the Am I the Asshole posts are usually pretty dead on of how they get voted.
They elicit.
I haven't heard a lot of times where like they vote this person's the asshole when clearly they're not. It seems pretty clear cut most of the times on these stories. So that one was pretty sweet. I think. I mean that. What great. First off, that grandma's awesome for being like, they keep giving you shit, but here's what happened for them when they started.
And you know what? Grandmas will do that, and it'll piss off the parents.
Oh yeah, it's
because
great, and they're just like, I don't give a fuck,
because it's that person's grandma, but the grandma and the parent obviously have a mother-daughter or mother-son dynamic where it's like they're gonna get into it.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that the next one or some of these are a little more on like the fence, a little less obvious.
I didn't read through all of these. I kind of.
No, but
I read through some of them, but all right. Am I the asshole for pretending to get fired when customers get a temper with me? I am a high schooler with a weekend job at a coffee shop. My coworkers who work weekends are James, the owner's son. He goes to my school. He's a shift manager, but it's not a real formal thing. He's a friendly guy. And Daniel, a college student who sometimes works weekends too. So sometimes customers will come in and just be angry about such little stuff, like literally blow up at nothing.
They were literally blow up?
Well, yeah, literally a blow up.
I guess.
I don't know if they're in a bad mood already and looking for someone to take it out on or what, but it's a lot. Like, how sad like how sad. So you're have to be a grown ass man taking your anger out on high school and college kids. So James and I were joking about having a little fun with them and hopefully getting them off our backs. So one day I was at work and some guy was having a temper about how we don't make the coffee hot enough, which I couldn't do a thing about because I gave it to him right out of the machine. So James came in and was like, "Sir, is there a problem?" And the guy started ranting at him. So he was just like, "OP, original poster. This is unacceptable. You're fired." I started acting real sad, like, "No, please don't fire me. My family needs the money. I need this job, please." And he played up being a hard ass, telling me to take off my apron and leave. The angry guy started to backtrack, like, "It's not that big of a problem. You don't need to fire him over it, or fire her over it." Sorry. I didn't mean it. And James was like, "No, we pride ourselves on our best customer service." Of course, after all the drama, I still had my job. We were just acting. Oh, thank God.
Oh, jeez.
And we've done it a couple of times. Whenever a customer will lose their temper at Daniel or I, James will storm in and fire us. And almost every time the person who come in angry will apologize and say that they didn't mean it. It's kind of satisfying, making people realize their actions might actually have consequences. Anyways, I was telling my friend from school about this, and a few of them thought it was a mean prank to let someone go away thinking they'd gotten someone who desperately needs the money fired. Am I the asshole for this joke? Your opinion?
It's hard because they didn't do it alone.
Because it's a joint person joke. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think that no matter how disgruntled you get, or how if you have a customer or customers that are really mistreating you as an employee, then you can get superiors involved to deal with it in a more like by the book way.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, it could be a way to get them to change their behavior.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like holding up a mirror to, not holding up a miror, but it allows them to really.
Holding a mirror to the ceiling.
Yeah. To guide my way through the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say no.
So they're resoundingly not the asshole.
Okay.
I agree. I think, especially if you're complaining about a coffee not being hot enough. So go in and just go and tell them, "Hey, could you guys heat this up more?" Or something. There's no reason to get so pissy at people. Because especially in a service job like that, like a coffee shop or like a fast food place, that's already a shitty job.
Yeah.
Like some people like the jobs and that's great, but it's like, I say it's already a shitty job as far as you have to deal with the worst fucking people already. So when people start berating you and being dicks over stupid minor inconveniences that, let's be honest, you're privileged enough to be able to come here and do this, and now you're going to be fucking a shitty person. Yeah, people have gotten fired over people being shitty for the dumbest of reasons. And it's like, is your coffee not being hot enough important enough for somebody to lose their job over?
Well, so the hard thing is, I think in the first example, it was like a repeat offender. Like this customer kept coming in and doing it. Am I right? But then after that, they said that anytime there was a customer that was basically being pissy at them about something, they would do this same joke. I think that...
Well, it just started off with this one day. I was at work and some guy was having a temper about how we don't make the coffee hot enough. So yeah, I mean, maybe this guy comes in there often and obviously, well, yeah, we don't make the coffee hot enough. So maybe this guy's come in and gotten coffee that's not hot enough several times. It's like, then go somewhere else. There's other coffee shops, you asshole.
Well, but as a customer, especially if you raise the complaint, and this is
right,
you can choose, hey, this is where I like to shop, and I as a customer should be able to expect, good service and good products or good whatever offered at the store while I'm there. And if they raise the concern, maybe they but
there's a way to do it.
Right. Maybe the very first, now this is this one person's interaction with this customer. Maybe this customer's been shopping there for a decade, long before this kid ever showed up. And he's already raised this complaint, maybe in a more civil manner at the time, to someone else. Right. And he's reached his boiling point now, because no matter how many times he brings up the coffee, the situation doesn't get better. And
so at
this
that point,
person,
then he's then it's you're trying to, if it's not getting better, if he's been going there 10 years and he's been having this complaint and it's boiled up to the point where now he's screaming at the employees that it's not good enough, he should have gone somewhere else at that point.
he should have, but he doesn't have to.
You can sit, yeah, but if he doesn't have to, but then it's like, then I'm sorry, you choose to keep coming here and this is the way our coffee is. You can sit there and complain all you want, but if it hasn't changed, you're just working yourself up at that point.
Yeah, I suppose so.
You can sit there and expect something from somebody, but if they're not, I can go to McDonald's and try to order a taco. They don't have tacos. I can go there for 10 years, keep asking for tacos. They don't serve tacos.
Yeah, since it's not like store wide, this place has a reputation for awful coffee. Something's wrong with the machines. It's not putting out good coffee. But this just seems to be this one guy's personal preference.
Right.
And he's just not accepting the way that their coffee is.
Yeah. It's like, sorry, then you just either you can accept the way it is here or you can go somewhere else. So,
I forget
there's no reason for it.
I forget who are all the people that were involved in putting on this bit every time.
It was just 2 employees and then the shift manager that they also went to school with.
So, okay.
So it's just a bunch of kids, basically.
Yeah. I definitely don't see anyone that's in like actual charge allowing that. But what happens? This has to come back to bite them at some point because these are returning customers and they have to see that these people that are claiming to get fired because of their the customer reaction and they're still working there. Then you just make up some other lie of like, well, we talked it out and they decided not to fire me. Then that person maybe would be relieved, like, oh, I'm glad that my complaint didn't end up actually getting you fired. Sure.
I'm glad it all worked out, blah, blah, blah. Because if these people are actually like showing remorse, like, oh, I didn't mean to, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get you fired, then maybe they'd actually be relieved and everything, and it would maybe actually cause them to think twice before overreacting about a coffee not being hot enough.
I mean, this is a Christmas Carol, and which is a beloved classic story. Right. So there's no way that this person is the asshole because they're just merely playing a part to turn Ebenezer Scrooge into a good person, right? That treats others with decency and generosity and love.
I'm realizing a lot of these are coming off as stories about the person not being an asshole. So I want to find one specifically that
where they voted to be
where we will find an actual asshole. So this one's called, "Am I the asshole for logging into my friend's email account and declining her university's offer of admission?"
I'm just going to go out on a limb here.
I'm on the fence.
A tree limb specific. I want to turn this tree limb into a fence plank and be on the plank. No, I'm going to say without the context, yes, this person is the asshole for doing this.
All right. Well, here's how it starts.
These universities notified me that they would murder this person if they were accepted.
Right. Oh, they saved a life.
Yeah.
Please do not judge only after you have read everything. I promise that there is much more to it than what the title says. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
Throwaway account because my friend knows my main Reddit account. Also, English is not my first language, so apologies for any grammar or spelling mistakes. I've read through this one once. It's worded perfectly fine.
Well,
I will refer to
learning American English.
Yeah, I will refer to the country we initially planned to go to as country X, and the country my friend might be going to as country Y. I might also consider editing this post later on to hide other personal information to make it less obvious it's me in case people I know see the post. Hope that's fine. All right. Now let's get into the actual story. Ever since I was a child, I always dreamed of studying abroad. We all know the benefits of studying abroad, and I am sure if I don't profit from this now, I will forever regret it later on. Luckily for me, my parents are financially stable and can afford sending me abroad in order to gain such an invaluable experience. However, there is one catch. That is, I must go with a friend of mine as they won't send me there alone. I thought this wasn't a problem since I have been planning to go with my friend to country X.
Okay.
This month, things changed.
Wait a minute. Okay. I know I'm not hearing the whole story yet.
Yep.
But this is sounding like he's making it, he or she is making it so the friend will not go to country A or basically
it's country
anything,
X or country Y. I don't know why they chose X and Y.
But they're trying to ensure that the friend goes nowhere but to country X so that this person can go to country X. Without hearing the whole story.
Have you read this?
No, but I'm starting to piece it together.
All right. This month, things changed. My friend and I applied to 2 universities in different countries. One of them doesn't have a capita on the number of students it can accept, but the other one does. My friend got accepted to both of them, but I only did to one. Both of them are good universities, and objectively, one is not better than the other, but their education system does differ.
How many walls do each have?
We're not going there. When my friend got accepted to the university in country Y, she told me that there is a possibility she will go there instead, as she has relatives there that will allow her to stay in their house without having to pay rent. I was heartbroken by the news. How could she do this to me? She knows how much I want to study abroad and is well aware of the fact that my parents will not let me go alone. I told my parents about this, and they assured me that if there is no other person I can go with, I will be studying here instead. I could not let this happen. Although she didn't say she was going to do it for sure, I need a definite answer or else I'll keep being stressed about it. My friend once told me her password on a game we played, and I tried to see if it was still the same password for her email, and it turns out she does. If she still has the same password. Okay. So that sentence didn't make sense for a second. So I logged in and rejected her admission offer and logged out. My friend still doesn't know this, but she will soon. I told my parents about it to assure them that my friend will now be going with me, but they got so upset with me and are now threatening me that they are going to call my friend's parents and tell them what I did. I begged them not to, but they are not listening. They want to do it in case she can still email the university. In the end, I told them to let me tell her instead, and they agreed to it. Parentheses, although I don't think I will. All right. Then there. Okay. Oh. So, go ahead. And first impressions. Then there's a little edit point afterwards.
The friend's a bitch.
Piece of shit, right?
Yeah.
You don't fuck with somebody's future like that just because yours might not work out. Exactly.
You should be going where your friend wants you to go so that they can also go. Country X.
So you're saying the person who did this horrible thing is the okay person. The other friend should want to go to country X.
Yeah, I thought that's what you said. Like you shouldn't tamper with your friend's future just because it might affect yours negatively. This person is not going to the country that your friend wants you to go to because it's less convenient for you, because it's not the school you want to go to. It's not near your family, so you could stay somewhere for free.
I think you missed a big part of the story.
No, I didn't. I heard the whole thing, and I'm ashamed of this friend that is not agreeing to go to the school that your friend can only go to if you go as well. Horrible. Look, you got accepted to both schools. You have the option to go to a school in which your friend could also study abroad. You would be there together. But because of your selfish decision to go to the school that happens to be near where some of your family members are, you're going to deny your friend the opportunity entirely to go to any school abroad, let alone the school that he got accepted.
Do you really believe this, or are you just...
You said it. You said the same thing I did.
No, I said that the person I said this person's an asshole. The person who posted this is an asshole, not the person who's the victim of this poster. You're taking the victim side. You're taking the poster side, saying they're not the asshole.
Yeah, you could argue that the poster's the victim.
I don't think anybody could argue that. Are you being sincere?
If you are accepted to
I know
two
you're not,
different
but please
schools,
tell me you're not.
If you are accepted to two different schools, one of them being
then you have the choice to go to whichever one you want. It's not somebody else's choice.
But there is
no but. It was not her choice.
You agreed that you would both study abroad together because your friend's parents left them with that stipulation. You can study abroad if someone goes with you. So you agree with your friend to study abroad together so that they would be able to study abroad. Yes? You get accepted to 2 different schools, one of which is the same school your friend also was accepted to. And that is the only school they can go to. And therefore, in order for them to be able to go to any school abroad, you have to choose the one of the 2 that you got accepted to that your friend can also go to. If not, you're denying them that experience altogether just because you wanted to go to a different, where in either scenario, you are studying abroad. It doesn't affect you either way. You're going to another country to go to college. Your friend doesn't get to all because of what you chose to do. The school you chose.
But the ultimate thing here is not about whether or not that person wanted to choose this college versus that college. It is whether or not this person had the right to cancel the other acceptance under her own selfish reasoning. She could have sat there and talked to her friend and said, hey, I know you have these 2 choices, but I would love it if you would still consider going to country X because I can go with you then. If you don't go, then this, like, they could sit there and fucking guilt trip their friend all they want to say, please keep going to country X. But the fact that she went in and broke into her email, I don't care if she knew the password, that's still breaking into somebody's email, and declined the offer without even discussing it with her friend. That is essentially identity theft and fraud. And you are an absolute shit person because she was so worried about not knowing and like, oh, I don't know. It's going to drive me nuts to not know. Then have that conversation with your friend about it and be like, hey, I know it's your choice if you go there or there, but we talked about doing this together for a long time. And if you choose to go to that place, I'm stuck here forever. Like, her friend probably would feel bad and then fucking choose to go to the country they originally decided to go to. So let me read this next part because you took a side on that I was not expecting. I don't know how much you really believe it, but you took a side on that. Okay. Now that you guys know why I did this, do you still think I am the asshole here? What's my fault for being forced to go with a friend? Edit. We are only 20 minutes in and I've already received DMs that range from insults to threats. While I accept the insults no matter how harsh they are, I cannot accept the threats. Okay. I refuse to accept them.
Yeah.
First of all, I was not born yesterday. You're acting like it.
Right.
I am well aware of the fact that even if I used a throwaway account, my friend will most likely know it's me from the post, and I will consider editing or deleting this post later on if necessary. Also, it's not funny to act in the DMs like you are my friend. I know my friend's Reddit username. Please just do what you are supposed to do. Judge me, but try to do it without insulting me or worse, threatening me. Also, I will no longer be responding to DMs. Keep all the comments here. The mods can moderate. Edit 2. All right. I think 82 comments telling me I'm the asshole are more than enough. Thank you for participating. I will log out now.
Wow. Reddit has spoken.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, and then there's a little bit more. There was some back and forth between her and some commenters. Okay. This comment is a reminder to please read everything before commenting, even if the post is long. Unfortunately, I can't write. I think this is this is her posting this. I cannot write a too long don't read for this as every single detail mentioned is important. Edit. Stop DM. Yeah. Every single detail is important to continue to make you look like a piece of shit is basically what it is. Stop DMing me to ask me personal questions such as which country I'm planning to go to. Even if you claim that you are asking in order to provide tips, your message will be ignored. Then this person commented, everyone read the post. We just don't think that you are more important than the other girl. You are not some chosen protagonist of life. She is not your side character. And then she says again, I'm sorry to hear that you think that way. You commented a bit too fast, though. Have you read the full post? Yeah, I read the whole post, and you're still an asshole. Yeah, I read the whole post, and you're still an asshole. And then she said, but you missed how much. Oh, then somebody said, but you missed how much she really wants to study abroad. Also, she's heartbroken. Then she replied, I know you are sarcastic, but you have no idea how much I've been dreaming of this. And to know only 3 months beforehand that I can no longer do that is honestly depressing. So it's okay for her to not get her way, but you are too good to be disappointed. Why is what you want more important than what she earned? I want what's better for the both of us, not just her and not just me. Do you really think she'd go with you after she found out what you did? And then somebody said, no, it's better for you. She is much better without you. Someone who sabotages her. Who knows what you'll do to her in a foreign country?
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much that. So you still stand on her side?
Look, they had an agreement.
All right, we're done.
And again, they had an agreement. Either way, the friend, no matter what school she chooses, is studying abroad. Whether she chooses the one in country Y or the one in country X. Whether she chooses the one in country X, both of them get to go. And it sounds like she submitted her acceptance to the school in country Y without telling the friend first.
No, they both applied to both schools. She just one got accepted to both, and one got accepted to just one. She didn't send off the email saying I accept the offer, because the friend got in there and declined the offer before she had the chance.
So how did they know? So the friend doesn't know she's accepted to country Y?
No, so the friend, so they both applied to both schools.
Yeah.
The poster only got accepted to country X.
So the poster
the friend got accepted to both schools.
So the poster went into the email and said, I'm not going to country Y.
The poster went into her friend's computer.
Yes.
And said, and declined the exception to country Y so her friend wouldn't go. Because now she's declined that offer. Now her friend only has the offer to country X.
But the friend who owns the computer the friend that got accepted to both schools.
Yes.
She knows she's been accepted to both schools?
Yes.
Okay. Wouldn't she be able to go in and go, hey, where's my
that's what they were saying. Like I think there was other comments that I didn't read throughout the thing of that were on the original post that were people saying, we hope that she can get back in there and tell them, like, I didn't actually do this. My friend did this and stuff. But it all depends on if her friend ever tells her, because the friend convinced her parents, no, I'll tell her. Please don't say anything. But she doesn't intend to ever say anything to her friend anyways.
But so, okay, either way, this sounds like this communication was done through email. Either way, you would go, let's say you're the friend who got accepted to both schools. And then you're like, okay, I've made my decision. Even though this is going to upset my friend and I'm not going to go to country X, I'm going to go to country Y. That's my decision. I'm going to go in now and accept the offer.
Right.
Notice that it's either not there or it's been replied to already as a denial.
Right.
I think that they would, whether or not she found out it was her friend that did it, and use that as an explanation as to why this should, please overturn this denial. I didn't mean to do it. You could still probably call up and say, hey, I don't know how this happened. I did not, maybe I unintentionally denied the offer to attend this school.
Right.
But I want to go there. So I think the part about the friend, I think the part about her finding out that her friend is the one that did it would not affect her ability to explain her situation. It might, but I don't think
there's a possible situation though, because they said one of the schools has a capita on how many people can attend and the other doesn't. So if country Y is the one that has a capita, if she is now declined and somebody else has got and accepted and taken it, now she might lose out based on
and I'm sure
that.
I'm sure the poster didn't specify which school had the capita, but why bring it up if it wasn't the country Y school?
So, I mean, yeah.
I mean, she went back on her word.
Yikes. All right, let me.
I don't see how. I don't get why. I mean, this poor person, student, girl, whatever she is.
I'm starting to regret the fact that I specifically looked up one where somebody was an asshole, because now you're taking the wrong side.
But you don't get it, Matt. She doesn't get what she wants.
Moving on.
She wants this, and she doesn't get it. Life isn't fair.
Right.
Life is being cruel to her. It's not fair.
Better for her to learn now. It's only going to get worse.
The problem is she doesn't get to learn because she doesn't get to go abroad to study.
She'll still get to learn. She
won't
get to learn abroad.
But she wants to study abroad. So it sounds like if she can't study abroad, she's not going to study domestically.
Well,
her
on her
friend
then.
Is denying her the opportunity to learn.
Well, too bad. She deserves all the worst in life for doing something shitty.
She's now going to work at a construction site.
Perhaps.
Getting
moving on
by her coworkers.
I'm trying so hard to move on.
Her friend has reduced her to a life of being catcalled at work on a daily basis, and don't bother trying to talk to any sort of HR department because they're the ones also participating in said catcalling.
Hey, listeners, is Sean the asshole for not letting me move on?
Look, would you want to study in your home country W?
I went to and quit college in this country, so
no.
I don't have a desire to study anywhere, apparently. And I'm doing just fine.
But does that have anything to do with me?
No.
Look,
am I the asshole for being proud of doing my job well, but causing my parents to be made redundant in the process?
She, though indirectly, maybe unintentionally, gave the friend access to her email, basically saying like, hey, my email is an open book. Like, dive in there whenever you want. Here's the access code to obtain any email you want that's in my inbox or send any email you want from my outbox. She granted access. And then
give
the friend,
access to anybody to something that doesn't giving somebody somebody learning or finding out your password does not give them right to meddle with your shit.
Look, she should have been more careful with her. She should have had a complex password that is not so easy to figure out. Regardless of whether or not this friend broke into this friend's email, you got to worry about cyber attacks. You got to have a complex password that is not easily guessable to protect your information from any threatening party, let alone a friend who's going to turn down your acceptance letter to a college in country Y.
I was not expecting you to die on this hill.
Look, there are ways that this could have been prevented. This friend didn't do that.
Am I the asshole for being proud of doing my job well, but causing my parents to be made redundant in the process?
What? Okay.
Oh, okay, we're moving on. I work with a consulting company that basically automates people out of jobs. In the past financial year, we were directly responsible for X thousands of people being made redundant and saving companies fat stacks of money. Basically, people are fallible flesh bags. And where practical, we try to replace it with predictable, repeatable solutions. This came to awkward scenario. We did an audit of a local industrial company that my parents work at. Throughout this audit, at times, I had to interact with departments/areas my parents were involved in to elicit process, requirements, etc. After the review, we found we could cut over 60 jobs and improve output with introduction of a particular off-the-shelf solution that required some modification. We provided training and additional audited aptitude and performance to note which workers would be best to retain, retrain, and retrench. The result, based on metrics at my work, was that my parents were part of this mass redundancy. I was not allowed to give my parents a heads up. After the news, my parents were/are livid at me. They're telling me I had no loyalty to them and should have fudged numbers to keep them there because they're not going to find new jobs at their age. They asked me how I can sleep at night knowing I put them out of work. I told them that I take my job seriously, do my best, or I do my job well, and am proud of doing a good job. But now my parents, siblings, and extended family and some family friends are pretty much angry at me. I've gotten various messages that follow the theme that I should be ashamed. I am not sorry for what I did. The job was an enjoyable challenge experience, and we ended up with a happy client.
My initial thought is that this is just an unfortunate circumstance as a result of the son. Do you think the son could have said, "Hey, this is kind of a conflict of interest because this is where my parents work"?
That is the main
Argument?
theme throughout the comments on this one. Is a huge conflict of interest. You should have recused yourself of that role and said, "Hey, my parents work here. I don't feel comfortable potentially putting my parents out of a job."
Right.
And then at that point, you can tell your parents, "Hey, my company is coming in to do this." Like warning if they, if they find that you're in the redundancy pool, you might be losing your jobs. But I recused myself of this because obviously I don't want to put my parents out of a job. But
right. I think that because he was once he got the data, once he basically got the information that his parents were part of the redundant pool, he was not able to warn them. But if he has removed himself from the process prior to any data being gathered and analyzed, he was then, I think, in a position where he could have said, "Hey, like you said, my company's coming in. They're going to run this through a fine-tooth comb, and they're going to see if they can let people go."
Be prepared that you might fall into that pool of people.
I understand that the parents are upset, but I think it's kind of shitty of them to basically suggest that he should have put his own job in jeopardy by fudging numbers to save their jobs.
That part I was kind of like, yeah, I mean, I don't agree with them saying that he should have fudged the numbers. I think the main thing is that he should have recused himself. And the other thing is that he's showing no remorse that he got his parents fired or laid off, I should say. Like the fact that he's just like, "I'm not sorry for what I did. Like, we have a happy client. That's what's important to me."
That makes you right. So he's not helping himself. I mean,
no,
take a few of those elements out. You take as far as the parents going, you should have fudged the numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That could have been in the heat of the moment of them first finding out.
Right.
And then maybe since then they've calmed down and said, "No, of course not. We wouldn't want you to do that. We were in a
we wouldn't want you to risk
state.
your job." However,
so we don't know if that was their initial like heated reaction because of the circumstance being new to them or the information being new to them. And then you also, if you remove the part where he's like, "I'm not sad at all. I did my job well."
Yeah, I did a good job.
Then
I'm
it's
a good
like,
company man.
Then it's like an obvious, well, he's not. This is just he was just doing his job, and he was put in an unfortunate position, an undesirable position to have to be the one to, ultimately,
a position he should have not been in. That's right. That's so fucked. Because, and like my job be damned. If I was ever put in a position like that, I would immediately be like, I want nothing to do with this because my family works here.
Exactly.
But also, like, loyalty to my company be damned. I would tell my parents, "Hey, this sucks, but you guys fell within this pool. Like, give them a heads up." To just not say shit to them, it's fucked. Because it's like I don't care. Family first. If my job was trying to make me do something that would fuck my family over, that's not a company I want to work for.
Yeah, if it seemed like he had a different attitude about it, or he did seem like he was a bit remorseful, this would be easier. But I'd say the position, him carrying out his job the way his company had instructed him to, that doesn't make him the asshole. The way he's saying he feels about it, is kind of what's making me turn to the other side.
Yeah, he's the asshole for not taking himself out of the situation, and he's an asshole for not pairing.
Right. Let's say, I mean, it most likely, almost 100% certainly was an option to say, this is a conflict of interest because this is one of I have immediate family that works here.
Right.
let's say that wasn't an option. Let's say he said that and the company was still like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Years. Just for him to say, yeah, I don't feel bad for what I did, for how this turned out.
Yeah. Yeah. The job was enjoyable and challenging.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a douche.
And we ended up with a happy client.
Right. What a douche.
Like, okay, enjoy the fact that your family will never talk to you again. But this guy sounds like an emotional fucking robot. So, or emotionless robot. So
he's just
I'm
someone
sure he's
who's
just like, whatever.
Yeah.
He's a company man.
Yeah. All he cares about is climbing the ladder, and it doesn't matter who he steps on his way up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Piece of shit. A resounding.
Is that the consensus with
well,
comments?
originally I was saying like there's the general consensus on Reddit was no assholes here, but that was reposted onto Twitter, and Twitter was just reaming him of just like, you're a piece of shit. Like, how dare you? But I don't know. I can't honestly say how people would vote that there was no assholes in that scenario. Cause like, I can understand it's my job. I had to do it, but you didn't probably have to do it. Like,
so yeah, I mean, I was just following orders only goes so far.
Yeah.
If you're that much of a go-getter, right, then you should feel no apprehension about leaving a company for forcing you to put yourself in that position, and then therefore getting a job at a different company because you're that much, you're that ambitious.
If he's that good at his job, and I'm sure he can find another job doing the same thing somewhere else.
He could get hired probably slightly based on the fact that he was like, you know what, my old company tried to put me in a position that would have me potentially cause my parents to lose their jobs, and I said that wasn't going to fly with me, so I was out of there.
Yeah,
that would show good character, good moral judgment, good ethics, and then that would put you in a good light for other employers.
Who knows, with that type of a company, they'd be like, oh, this guy is showing sympathy for the people we're trying to push out of jobs. We can't have that at this company. We need somebody who's willing and ready to, put people out on the street. Companies like that are complete fucking bullshit, and capitalism is a joke.
I know, but I know they're not. I know they try to justify it by not going into it with the goal being to put people on the street, but the goal being to help a company run more efficiently.
Yeah,
but that's the unfortunate.
That's like exactly how it works.
No, it is. That's unfortunately what ends up happening.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think their mission statement is, let's go to companies and find out how many people we can put out on the street.
Right.
Yes, it's sort of like 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But
I guess the ultimate goal, I guess not the ultimate goal, but the best outcome of a situation like that is that you find redundancies on how things are being done, and you can make things efficient without losing employees. Would be the best outcome. But let's be honest, that's the easiest way to cut costs at a company, is to lessen how many employees you have.
It is. There's less benefits that have to be paid out, less salaries, all that kind of stuff, less vacation. You could find more efficient ways to do things. Now you could look at it in another way where, yes, we're stronger and we're running more smoothly in the operations that we had. Now we can use some of our freed up resources, aka people, and put their energy toward something else, like expanding its operation, expanding what it offers, expanding what it does.
Yeah, I guess not having any sort of background on what that job was.
Yeah, and it's,
who knows what kind of option that was.
And it all depends on the company. The company might be like, this is what we do. This is what we know how to do. We just want to be able to make this one thing we do. We're not interested in broadening and branching out and learning new skills and things like that. We're just interested in making what we do cost less and put out this equal or greater amount of product or service. So,
all right.
What the ultimate message is for
this
most people,
well,
for a lot of people in that arena, money trumps everything else. Money is just the
money rules. All right, we're gonna do one more because this one's kind of ridiculous.
Okay.
A 29-year-old female, dated a guy, Joe, 30-year-old male, for 3 months before he left me to go back with his ex, Kim, 30-year-old female. Right after we broke up, I found out I was pregnant, and now I'm at 24 weeks. I let him know, and he was ecstatic. Turns out his girlfriend had fertility issues and would likely never be able to get pregnant naturally. Never get pregnant naturally. I emphasized that really wrong.
Well, you meant to say it like it was a new sentence.
Yeah.
Naturally, this and this and this.
Never not able to get pregnant naturally, and he has always wanted to be a father. Getting back together was out of the question for both of us, so he is still with his girlfriend. Joe was only allowed at the initial appointment because of COVID-19. This is a couple years ago.
Sure.
This was and we found out I was having twins. According to Joe, when he told Kim, she had a mental breakdown about her fertility and wanted to talk to me. I met them at their house, and Kim stated she wanted to be involved in my pregnancy because she would eventually be the children's stepmother. She started telling me that I needed to do a home birth and I needed to formula feed so that they could have the babies half of the week. That she wanted one boy and one girl, and that she wanted the kid to call her mama, and since they would be calling me mommy. I shut her down and said I shut her down and said I would not make the best choices for my children and my body, and left. I don't know why I added not in there. It's not there.
Because you want her to be the asshole.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. Okay. I would make the best choices for my children and my body, and I left. First off, before we even continue, I want one boy and one girl. So can you make sure you make that happen with your twins that you're having for right now? Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. That's a little out of her hands.
Before we continue, if they would have just used the asshole, they wouldn't be in this predicament.
Yep. Kim continued to be overbearing and texting me every day about my eating habits, exercise habits, and bitching about her job, about how her job wouldn't let her take maternity leave.
What?
I wanted to pause there so you could react to that.
Great. Wait, who's supposed to be the asshole here? I don't know. Who's
right? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go on. Yeah.
The person posting is making sure they're not the asshole, but I'm sorry, Kim is coming off as quite the asshole already. At the virtual genetics counseling appointment, she attended instead of Joe and took over the whole meeting trying to talk about her family history, which wasn't relevant.
Yeah, not at all. There's no...
Nope.
Okay. All right.
She has no genetics in these babies whatsoever.
Yeah, no. There's no DNA of hers is present.
Yep. When it came time for my 20-week level 2 scan, they allowed me one guest, and Joe suggested I take Kim instead of him, which I refused to do. Joe did end up coming, and he found out the gender because I wanted to keep it a secret. I wanted to keep it a surprise for me so we could throw a gender reveal party. I put a pregnancy announcement on social media, and then she put up an announcement saying they were expecting twins, the non-traditional way, quote unquote, the non-traditional way.
The Raising Arizona way.
Yeah. And how blessed she was. I was irritated, but I kept my mouth shut. Then she threw a gender reveal party and posted it on social media. I wasn't invited. She also announced that she's having a baby shower. I commented on her post and told her to stop treating me like a surrogate, that the kids weren't hers, and that Joe didn't have any claim or custody of the kids until they were born. I then called Joe and reiterated all of this and stated I would not be seeing either of them until we went to family court and that my mother would be my birthing partner. He and Kim and some of her friends and family are saying I'm an asshole, and her mother even called and insisted I give her one of my babies, like this is the fucking Parent Trap. So am I the asshole? Just give me one of the babies?
I don't know why this person felt they needed to. I don't know why this person felt they needed to post here to like get confirmation that they're like this. These people are being so outrageous.
I think sometimes, like, to me, this post was just like, hey,
it's a way to vent.
Listen to this ridiculous situation.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to put it in the am I the asshole because I know I'm going to get a resounding no, I'm not the asshole. But I also just want other people to hear how ridiculous the situation I'm in is. So we do have an edit and we do have a couple updates.
All right.
Edit, I am definitely getting a lawyer as soon as possible. Y'all have scared the shit out of me, but I'm happy you did it. So basically, what everybody's posting in here is like, fucking
Get
you should be scared. Get the
representation
fuck out.
because
They're going to try to steal your babies or some shit. So yeah, I'm assuming some people commented on like, did she intend to get pregnant or whatever? Because this update says, I never considered that this could have happened on purpose. We used condoms because I do not react well to hormonal birth control, and I had to wait to get a non-hormonal IUD because of other medical issues. The Thursday I posted this, I went to the police and they stated there was nothing they could do because a crime hadn't been committed. In my state, orders of protection are criminal or family, so I was able to get one against Joe. On Friday, I did get a lawyer, and they let me know in my state there was nothing I could do as far as custody before the babies are born. So I will be leaving my state as soon to ensure this isn't my baby's home state, and I can't be charged with anything. Like kidnapping or some shit, I would assume.
yeah.
However, someone sent this post to Kim, and she came to my job, damaged my car, and broke a bunch of office windows. I work with kids, so she was arrested for not just the criminal damage and trespassing, but also child endangerment. So hopefully that works in my favor.
I think it might.
Yeah. Also, if Joe did it on purpose, I don't think Kim knew because she was screaming at me about how I stole her life and everything I had was supposed to be hers.
All right, this woman's a whack job.
She's a fucking nut. Sorry, ma'am, you're unable to have children. That's not this lady's fault. How did she steal everything away from you?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Just
also,
because your boyfriend got her fucking pregnant while you were on a break.
Also, why would the pregnant woman immediately include this other girlfriend as a full-on part of these children's lives when the boyfriend just girlfriend hopped? Who's to say he's like locked in with? Like, she's like, I'm gonna be the kid's stepmom, so we might as well get this all situated.
Yeah, I don't know why she initially ever agreed to meet up with this woman, but
at all. They're not married. There's nothing saying Joe is going to continue to be with Kim throughout the lives of these children.
Right.
So let's get them used to calling her stepmom or mommy or mama or whatever.
Mama. Yeah, mama.
Yeah. And telling her how she should feed the babies, telling her this is
bonkers.
These kind of demands, set aside what she did when she came to the job and like damaged the car and did all that other crazy stuff. This kind of crazy stuff is probably going to make any court going to go, you're not in any kind of state where you should be in the care of or taking care of children at all.
Right.
And plus, it sucks so much for this woman who has, first of all, she got pregnant by someone that she's now no longer with. And so she's got to deal with she has to be prepared to potentially raise these kids on her own. And this is during the time where she should really only be focusing on taking care of herself.
She doesn't need
the babies
stress.
are healthy. Now she's got to go out and find a lawyer.
So one last update.
Oh, sorry.
I have orders of protection against both Kim and Joe. I left the state anyway, and Joe and Kim started harassing me again because there's no legal jurisdiction when you leave the state. But I have enough evidence that I was able to press charges in my current state as well, and will be pursuing a restraining order here.
Current state being pregnant.
Yeah. So good for her for getting the fuck out of there and getting to a different state. So now Joe has like nothing, like, so he'll at this point now it sounds like she can have the kids and have no ties to him whatsoever. I don't know how much he'd be able to like legally kind of pursue her at that point, but with all this other shit, with the restraining orders and all that kind of stuff, I don't think he's got great chances.
No. Now, did they? I didn't really notice if had this Kim woman not been in the picture. Let's say Joe still left her and just broke up with her and then didn't return to Kim. Did it seem like there was at least a willingness to have Joe included?
It sounded like at the beginning, because when she said at the beginning when she told Joe, he was ecstatic about it. Like he's always wanted kids, but Kim was unable to have kids.
So is that why he's ecstatic
at this
about
point,
it?
Thank God Kim's not able to have kids if she's this big of a fucking whack job.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, maybe Kim was a perfectly normal and fine person, and this happening of Joe getting somebody else pregnant and her not being able to get pregnant, something snapped. Because she obviously she said she had a breakdown when she found, or when she was told.
Yeah. Well, because for Kim, she's like, this is the second time this has happened to me. Because when I was about to go to college, my friend decided to go to the school that I couldn't go to. And so now my life dreams have been stripped away from me again.
See you next Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
You piece of shit.
What?
If you have a question, complaint, or threat for Sean or Matt, you can reach us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at HSFamousPod, or you can email the show at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. No animals were pleasured during the making of this podcast, despite our best efforts. All hail our Lord and Savior.
Jack Nicholson.